This mid-century modern dresser was very beaten up and super dirty, but it's getting a stunning makeover in today's video on The Refurbished Life.
Hey guys, welcome back. Let's get into it.
Always start your projects off with a good clean, so let's remove the hardware so we can get in all of the nooks and crannies. After taking these handles off, you can tell that somebody installed them because they're not even. And you can also see that they have little cup handles where the indents go. I'm using the TSP cleaner here, and it's a good time to check out all the things that need to be done on your piece.
Gross, dude.
I like to use acetone for any super sticky messes on furniture. This piece was so dirty. Look at that. Make sure not to forget to clean the inside as well.
So the little metal pieces are missing. 6, 7 of those. Remember to label the bottom of your drawers so you know which sides they go in, because they don't always fit the same way.
Time to do a few repairs. You'll see me use this product a lot in my videos. It's plastic wood by DAP. It's pretty strong stuff, so I like to do significant damage repairs with it. As you're doing these prep steps, you'll get a better look of what materials your furniture is made out of. In this case, this dresser is solid wood with a wood veneer, so it tells me that I need to be careful with the outer layer to not blow through it when I'm sanding and just be more gentle with it. This is a messy job down here, I know, but it was just a weird angle down there by the ground. On the holes, I use the same filler and I kind of push it into the hole and then also leave some above surface level to get a smoother flat finish. I love these extract sanding discs because the air flows freely through it, so you don't have buildup on the surface, so it doesn't make squiggles, and it also goes really quickly. Until I get a surf prep sander, this is going to be my go-to. When I was using the orbital, a bit of the fraying was happening on the edges, so I did it by hand, and then I did touch-ups with this more liquid version of DAP plastic wood. Then I'm going to scuff sand the areas that I'm not caring about going to raw wood, getting in the angles with the sponge covered with sandpaper. I'm going to bring the base down to bare wood to expose that wood veneer there. This has got quite a bit of damage, and this is going to be the first time that I've done touch-ups to camouflage damage on bare wood. The sides of this base are solid wood, and it's a different type of wood than the veneer. Scuff sanding just a bit more, and now it is time to blow off all of the debris. I like using these little leaf blowers, and I actually got this one for literally $1 at a garage sale. You can get any extra debris off with a microfiber rag. As I was doing this, I was seeing how much more crackling there was in the center, and knew I needed to fix it before I moved on. Taping off the base now to get ready for the primer. I'm going to be priming with this shellac clear coat. Doing a little scuff sand afterward to get off any texture.
I'm visualizing where my wood strips are going to go and how many I'm going to need per drawer. At this point, I'm thinking 8 per drawer, 4 starting on each side of the cup holes, and then multiplying that by each drawer and also measuring the width of each one so that I can do the math and get a rough estimate of how many feet I'm going to need of the trim. This winds up changing later, but for now, we're taking our first trip to Home Depot to pick up our wood strips.
I settled on the 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch hemlock strips. Now it's time to mix up our paint. If you saw a video of mine working on particle board back in December, I use this beautiful color called Hidden Falls. Well, I'm wanting to deepen it with this project, so I use a black and mix it in. I'm going to be spray painting this on with my new HomeRite Finish Max spray gun I got on Amazon. It's really cool because it has 3 different attachment tips and they're for different thickness, and all you have to do is look at the little booklet and it shows you also the spray patterns there. So it's really straightforward and it doesn't have like the big tank that you have to have the hose on or anything. It's just a cord, you plug it in, and super easy. I love using the Scotch tape with the drape already attached when I'm working on big areas that I need to cover up. It just makes it way quicker and more simple. And all the products I'm using in today's video will be down in the description, either in-store links, Amazon associate links, or my brand new Amazon storefront, which I'm really excited about, will be down there as well.
When I tell you guys how happy I was when I saw how fine that paint sprayed out and what good coverage it had, I was so excited. I really, really love this spray gun. This was so satisfying to do, but after I was done, I ran into a little problem. Since I didn't use white primer, I didn't see all of the little parts that I needed more filler on, and it would take too much paint to go back to ground 1, and I didn't want to lose progress. So in this situation, a little paint worked in a pinch. There is still some wood texture showing through the paint, which I don't mind. I did a quick little scuff sand after that coat to prepare for coat number 2. Next, I need to paint the rims of the drawers. I do a quick little cleanup with some rubbing alcohol to get off the overspray. I'm using this wipe-on polybind Minwax in warm satin to apply the top coat. It's very, very easy to use this if you're wanting to use an oil-based top coat. And since this is a dark color, I'm not worrying about it yellowing as oil-based top coat can do sometimes. So if you're using a white color or other light colors of paint, I would suggest using a water-based top coat over an oil-based to avoid any yellowing. This is after 2 layers of the poly. Next up is to measure the drawers for the wood cutting length. And here's the crazy thing. I wanted a miter box. I thought I was going to have to buy it brand new, but I just found it here at the Goodwill for $2.49. I'm going to save this sawdust for later. Now that I'm done doing stain prep, it's time to pick out what kind of stain color I use. So I put it up to the furniture to see what I like, and I went with this Varathane Poly Plus stain in espresso. It was that perfect kind of brown with just a touch of red. The only problem was this is a super old container and it's very low, and then I found out they don't carry it at Home Depot anymore. Now I'm making marks with my ruler exactly where my pieces of wood are going to start. I'm going to have them starting right where that edge is for the cup handles. It's really important to double check your measurements because where we put this little first piece of wood is going to make a big difference to how the other ones are spaced and if they're spaced evenly. You can hardly see these little faint pencil lines, but this is where I'm going to be starting the wood right here next to the pole edges. And then if you're crooked at all in the first place, it'll start angling more and more by the time you get to the end, and we want that last piece to be straight and even on all the drawers. So almost always when I'm doing wood trim of any kind, I like to put the glue down first and then put it in place and let it sit for the evening. just because it wiggles around a lot when you're trying to hold it down and nail it down, and then you're stuck with a problem that you have to pry off. So I'm spacing these with little wood pieces and being very gentle to keep them right in place. Then I check the sides to make sure they're even. And guys, I splurged and I got myself this amazing nail gun. If you see my videos, I always like haul out an air compressor, or I use like my corded one that only has like limited features, but this is battery packed and you can adjust that little nozzle for how deep you want the nail, and it is the most easy thing and it makes me so happy. You can see that little nail go out so fast. It makes the work way quicker. The other part I love is that it doesn't leave a little metal indent line for the pressure point. Here's the sawdust again that I mentioned earlier. I'm going to mix it with glue. I've heard of trying this for wood filler, so I'm going to give that a go and test these little areas. What I found is that the glue is pretty hard to get off, but not impossible. But to make quicker work, I used this old reliable wood filler and sanded it all down again with my extract sanding pad. Make sure you get off all the wood filler so the stain doesn't have issues on it later. And this is a new thing for me too, using furniture crayons. I've never done this before, so honestly on these corners with a lot of damage, I had to practice a few times and then I would sand it off and I would try again. Eventually it got to where I wanted it. The only problem is that I didn't realize I was supposed to stain the wood first and then match the crayons to the stain and then top coat it. So I did this backwards, and it definitely made putting the stain on afterwards tricky because stain is not meant to adhere to wax. I wound up having to go on a serious stain hunt to find something else I liked as much as the espresso, since that is not sold anymore. So I went with this gel stain in walnut and really loved it. If you're curious how the wood filler compared to the glue and the sawdust, these were the marks that had glue and sawdust, and they're almost undetectable. Finishing this wood trim off with some more wipe-on poly. Now it's time to tackle the base, and I was nervous about this because I didn't know how it would turn out over the wax. As you see, it kind of just glides over, it doesn't really want to stay put, so I had to do a lot of layers and finishing work with this little paintbrush. But by the next day it was looking pretty good, so it was time to tape it off and apply the clear coat. Thank you guys so much for watching today. It's getting near the end of the video. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe and like and comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Here's a quick reminder of where we started, and here's the after. I really loved how this one turned out. It's so warm and rich and classy. I usually don't know how it's going to pull together till the end, so it's fun to see it all with the drawers inside and all ready for its next home. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.